You are sitting in your living room. You have just paid your monthly internet bill. It is a staggering $120. You sit down at your computer, ready to unwind by watching a highly educational video or perhaps download a file for work. You click the button, and then it happens. The screen freezes, the audio glitches into a robotic stutter, and right in the center of your monitor, a tiny, mocking geometric circle begins to spin. Buffering. You sigh. You walk over to a dusty plastic box sitting in the corner of your room. You pull the power cord out. You count to 10 because an underpaid customer service representative once told you that counting to 10 somehow magically fixes the entire global telecommunications network, and you plug it back in. You are paying over $1,000 a year for a service that operates with the reliability of a paper umbrella in a hurricane. Welcome to the American Broadband Extortion. We live in a society that fundamentally requires an internet connection to survive. You need it to apply for jobs, to attend school, to pay your taxes, and to participate in the modern economy. Yet, we have allowed this critical piece of national infrastructure to be captured, monopolized, and squeezed for every possible penny by a cartel of deeply unpopular regional telecom giants. To understand why your internet is so slow, so heavily capped, and so violently expensive, you have to look at the illusion of choice in the American market. In a functioning capitalist system, if a business provides a terrible product at a massive markup, a competitor will step in, offer a better product for less money, and steal their customers. That is the basic, fundamental law of supply and demand. But the American telecom industry looked at that law and decided it was entirely too much work. Instead, over the last few decades, the massive internet service providers, the ISPs, essentially carved up the map of the United States like 19th century empires dividing a newly discovered continent. They drew invisible lines down the middle of cities and towns, effectively creating non-compete zones. If you live in an average American neighborhood and you get furious at your internet provider, try to switch. Go ahead. Type your address into a database. You will very quickly discover a horrifying mathematical reality. You usually only have one option for high-speed broadband. Maybe, if you are incredibly lucky, you have two. When a corporation knows that you have absolutely nowhere else to go, they stop caring about you. They do not need to upgrade their aging copper cables. They do not need to provide decent customer service. They do not need to offer competitive pricing. They can introduce arbitrary data caps that magically throttle your speed, or charge you massive overage fees for using the exact service you already paid for. They have a captive audience, and they are holding your digital life hostage. But the scam goes much, much deeper than just lazy regional monopolies. It's backed by a massive, legally protected heist of taxpayer money. In the 1990s, the federal government realized that the future of the global economy was going to be built on fiber-optic cables. So they handed the massive telecom giants billions upon billions of dollars in tax breaks, subsidies, and rate increases. The deal was simple. Take this money and wire the entire country with high-speed fiber-optic infrastructure. Do you have gigabit fiber running directly into your house right now? Probably not. The telecom companies took the money, wired a few highly profitable commercial districts, and then effectively shrugged. The funds vanished into corporate mergers, executive bonuses, and stock buybacks. The promised national fiber network never materialized for the average consumer. We paid for a digital utopia, and we were handed a dial-up modem painted a slightly different color. And when local municipalities finally got fed up with this, when cities decided they were just going to build their own fast, cheap, publicly owned internet networks, the telecom giants panicked. But they didn't panic and lower their prices. Instead, they took their massive profits, marched straight into state legislatures, and deployed armies of lobbyists. As of right now, in nearly half of all U.S. states, telecom lobbyists have successfully pushed through legislation that legally restricts or completely bans local governments from building their own municipal broadband networks. Let that sink in. The telecom monopolies provide a terrible service, refuse to upgrade it, and then literally lobby the government to make it illegal for you to build a better one yourself. It is a masterclass in corporate extortion. But it does not have to be this way. To see a system where the internet is treated like a hyper-fast, easily accessible utility, we have to leave the United States. We have to look at a country with a fraction of the GDP, yet some of the absolute fastest and cheapest internet speeds on the face of the earth. Let us look at Romania. If you tell a Romanian citizen that you pay $100 a month for a connection that drops every time it rains, they will look at you with profound, genuine pity. In Romania, gigabit fiber-optic internet, speeds that allow you to download massive 100-gigabyte files in a matter of seconds, cost the equivalent of about $10 a month. There are no arbitrary data caps. There are no regional monopolies holding entire neighborhoods hostage. How did a post-Soviet nation completely leapfrog the richest country in the history of the world in digital infrastructure? Because they built it organically, and they built it with ruthless, chaotic competition. In the 1990s, when the internet was first exploding, the Romanian government didn't wait for a massive, slow-moving national telecom giant to lay cables, and the citizens certainly weren't going to wait either. So entrepreneurial locals just started doing it themselves. People literally began stringing Ethernet cables between apartment buildings. They created massive neighborhood networks, local, highly localized area networks where thousands of people shared connections. It was a digital Wild West. Cables were strung across streets, hung from trees, and wrapped around balconies. It was not pretty, but it was incredibly fast, and it was deeply competitive. If the guy running the network in your apartment block charged too much or provided a slow connection, another guy 3 doors down would just string a new cable and offer a better deal. Eventually, these chaotic neighborhood networks consolidated into larger professional companies, and the government stepped in to force the infrastructure underground. But the intense neighborhood-level competition survived. Today, a single Romanian apartment building might have 3, 4, or 5 different high-speed fiber providers directly competing for a tenant's business. Because they actually have to compete, the prices stay on the floor and the speeds stay at the absolute ceiling. They treat the internet exactly like what it is, a cheap, easily transmissible beam of light. The Romanian model proves that high-speed fiber internet is not an expensive, impossible luxury. It is remarkably cheap to maintain once the cables are laid. The only reason it is expensive in the United States is because our regulatory environment was specifically designed to protect the profit margins of a cartel. We are actively holding back our own national development. We have brilliant engineers, small business owners, and students who are being artificially throttled by a corporate monopoly that refuses to innovate. We are treating a fundamental pillar of modern infrastructure like a luxury cable television package. You cannot build a 21st century digital economy on a copper wire infrastructure protected by a 19th century monopoly mindset. I'm Norman, and I'm going to go stare at this spinning circle until my internet comes back on, or until the heat death of the universe.